EU plot to destroy City of London, Brussels looking to force firms out of Brexit Britain. The EU is planning to use Brexit to destroy the dominance of the City of London and lure finance firms to the continent, a trade expert has said. Negotiations for an agreement on financial services will take place in the coming months, with the sector largely left out of the EU free trade deal agreed on Christmas Eve last year. The industry is worth over £130 billion to the UK economy and makes up almost 7% of Britain's total economic output. Last year the City of London exported £25 billion of services to the EU, making it a key market. Sam Lowe, a trade expert at the Centre for European Reform who was previously also a member of the government's Strategic Trade Advisory Group, has warned negotiations on financial services could create political tension in the EU-UK relationship. He said Brussels is yet to decide on the issue of so-called equivalence, determining if the UK's rules and regulations are suitably compatible with its own that firms in London can have access to the EU market. He wrote in a blog, the EU still needs to decide whether the UK's financial services rule book is equivalent to its own, and if so whether to allow certain financial products to continue being sold into the EU from the UK's territory. Technically speaking, as a recently departed EU member with all of the same rules, the UK should be able to easily meet the EU's criteria. Brussels has given no indication as to when it is likely to give a decision on whether the UK's rules are compatible with the EU's. The UK has already given equivalent status to EU firms in 17 areas. Mr. Lowe warned the EU27 were unlikely to give broad-reaching access to the continent to British firms and would instead only grant access in specific areas where it was in the interest of Brussels. The Centre for European Reform research fellow said, the EU's decision will inevitably be influenced by its political desire to onshore more financial activity and build an integrated European capital market on the continent. It is unlikely that it will grant UK-based firms across-the-board access, and instead will only grant equivalence in the areas deemed to be of systemic importance to the EU's financial markets.